Pokémon Champions has ushered in an extensive series of major changes, and we're here to examine the Pokémon that have most significantly been affected by these, competitively speaking, for good or ill. We've assembled 10 selections, 5 on each side, as well as an honorary section for both, and there are some big Pokémon that have been affected here. So without further ado, let's jump right into the winners and losers of Pokémon Champions, with a Pokémon that is affected by the vast item purge, as Maushold is our number 5 loser. In Gen 9, Maushold brandished its signature move to terrifying effect. It was actually even stronger than its 20 base power per hit thanks to the 50% boost from its technician ability. Each hit had 90% accuracy though, so the likelihood of hitting all 10 wasn't actually too good. But this was easily fixed with the accuracy boosting wide lens as the item, with its 10% boost bringing each hit to 99%. With Maushold's superb, thunderous equivalent base 111 speed, it got plenty of opportunity to launch its hits and develop a solid VGC niche, since it also packed Follow Me's valuable redirection and even the utility of taunt. Now in Champions, there's no wide lens anymore. Given Maushold's frailty and the fact that its attack isn't actually very high at all, it needs to reliably be able to land as close to 10 hits as possible. As soon as it can't do that, it more or less defeats the point of using it as an offensive threat in the first place, turning its signature move into a gamble, and a bad one at that. Now Maushold is only number 5 on this list because it had a VGC set before without Population Bomb, and also a bunch of Follow Me users did not return, making it one of the few Follow Me users in the current format. It could fully dedicate itself to redirection with a bulkier spread and use the absolutely incredible Friend Guard as its ability to further support its teammates. But this set also preferred an item that no longer exists: Safety Goggles, which isn't the worst thing because Amoonguss isn't returning either, but it still would have been incredibly useful versus the Rage Powder users that are back, and also Venusaur's Sleep Powder. And again, no longer being able to use your signature move that gives you such a unique niche, that's really tough, but not as tough to fight as our number 5 winners on this list. We've got 2 in Mega Frostlass and Mega Delphox. Mega Frostlass and Delphox's promise was already known. Their outstanding dual stabs supported by Nasty Plot and excellent special attack and speed. But they've been taken to a new level with the excellence of the abilities they've newly received, which unleash the full extent of their powers and bring new elements to their game. Mega Frostlass gaining Snow Warning allows it to upgrade one of its 2 best in-game stabs, going from the Ice Beam that already would have been sufficiently ferocious to the monstrously strong Blizzard, having unlocked perfect accuracy on the latter thanks to its snow-setting Snow Warning ability. This also allows it to dish out major spread damage in VGC, which is huge in making it as threatening as possible and allowing it to overcome its frailty, though that too is improved with the defense boost it gets from snow. Plus, its dual stabs are so good, even with Protect taking up the 3rd move slot, it can afford a 2nd ice move, able to slot Ice Beam into its moveset alongside Blizzard so as to play around Wide Guard and opposing weather. Meanwhile, Mega Delphox has been able to combat its own fragility with its Levitate ability, whereas previously it'd be an easy target for all the earthquakes and high horsepowers around every corner. It now uses them as an entry and denies them as counterplay, which is incredible utility for something so strong, with the one-hit KO happy stab coverage of fire, and especially crucial for how it's uniquely fast as well. Mega Frostlass is quite speedy at base 120, but at base 134, Mega Delphox is really flying past the vast majority of everything. The one potential downside of Levitate is that it means Mega Delphox is no longer grounded, so it's not affected by psychic terrain and can't use Expanding Force. But seeing how threatening it is and how it takes away a major avenue of threatening it in return, this feels like a worthwhile price to pay. Now back to the losing side. At number 4, we've got none other than the one, the only, Incineroar. It may still sit atop its throne, but it has been humbled upon it, because it's not like it doesn't have alternatives to these 2 moves that it's lost. But these moves were indeed major, and Incineroar is notably worse off for no longer having them. First, it lost its primary Dark Stab knockoff, which packed immense utility for effortlessly hitting opponents hard and removing their item. Sure, it's got Darkest Lariat, which hits pretty hard and actually hits Mega Pokemon harder than knockoff would, since they have an item that can't be removed, but the utility of ridding non-Mega opponents of their item is among the best in the game. Additionally, Incineroar has also lost U-Turn. Now, this is a lesser blow, as Incineroar still has Parting Shot, which is often even preferred for how it further weakens opponents while enabling Incineroar's cycling of Intimidate and Fake Out, but it can be stopped by Taunt and doesn't break Focus Sashes, unlike U-Turn. Now, Incineroar would be worse off for how it can no longer fit U-Turn on Assault Vest sets, which can't use Parting Shot due to the item only allowing damaging moves, but it's actually even worse than that. There is no Assault Vest Incineroar anymore, because there is no Assault Vest anymore. Yep, Incineroar is also massively affected by Champion's item purge. It can no longer rock the Assault Vest that, alongside Intimidate, makes it extraordinary at withstanding special hits as well as physical. It also can no longer run Safety Goggles to bypass Spore and Rage Powder. It's pretty much just left with Berries now, which isn't bad, but it is a notable limitation. Now to winner number 4, the long wait is finally over with Mega Floette Eternal. The unreal strength of Eternal Flower Floette's signature move, the 140 base power Light of Ruin, has been known since Generation 6, but Eternal Floette wasn't actually available for what felt like 3,000 years until now. And what's more, it's got a Mega to go with it. Set to make up for lost time, among its new stats, the one that immediately jumps out is its 155 base special attack, which would already make Light of Ruin one of the most absurdly powerful attacks around. But Mega Floette also gets Fairy Aura, the same ability that pushed Xerneas to such extremes, providing a 33% boost to its Fairy moves, making it stronger than if it held Life Form, allowing it to pull off some ridiculous feats of power. However, now that Mega Floette is actually available, it's not actually using its signature move in early VGC play. Ludicrously powerful though it may be, Light of Ruin's drawbacks is its enormous recoil, which is half of the damage it deals, leaving Mega Floette punished by the astonishing power it deals out, which is quite a waste considering it has much more reliable alternative in Moonblast. Yes, it doesn't pull off anything as astonishingly over the top as Light of Ruin, but it's still a 95 base power stab boosted further by Fairy Aura, coming off of a special attack stat that makes Xerneas look like it's Yu. Moonblast still hit incredibly hard without comprising Mega Floette's good natural bulk and even had 100% accuracy as opposed to Light of Ruin's 90%. Plus, since Mega Floette is a generally effective fairy type, it makes for a great Calm Minder, whose easy setup quickly leads to Moonblast hitting even harder. Mega Floette is also a threatening Calm Minder since its massive power, in addition to being assisted by its strong hit taking, is also coming off of a highly useful Garchomp tier speed, meaning it gets the jump on the defining base 100 benchmark. Ultimately, the greatest testament to how well-rounded a threat Mega Floette is the fact that it doesn't have to run the ultimate power move. It can simply count on its own general reliability with the more consistent option. Now to loser number 3, beset by a familiar problem as the last one and more, we have Archaludon. Archaludon's troubles are similar to Incineroar's, except the backbone of Archaludon's strategy has been disrupted more fundamentally. Previously, it loved using Body Press, which dealt major damage thanks to not just its enormous base defense, but because of its stamina ability, which raised its defense each time it got hit. You couldn't easily target its much lower special defense either, because with some EV investment and Assault Vest attached, you'd just be providing fuel for its stamina boosting Body Presses. You might know where this is going, at least partially. Without Assault Vest, Duraludon becomes much more vulnerable on the special side, but it's actually much worse than that. It no longer has Body Press, making it unable to weaponize its huge, constantly boosting defense. This wasn't everything Archaludon did, not by a long shot. Its solid dual stabs were flanked by the incredibly powerful Electro Shot, so strong as to outdamage Stab Flash Cannon against neutral targets, while also boosting Archaludon's already impressive special attack even further. The downside was that it took 2 turns to use, unless you used Power Herb as your item, or of course Rain was active. Archaludon was indeed an absolute terror on Rain, covering every territory imaginable. Electro Shot made its special attack even scarier for firing off what was dangerously close to 3 stabs, but it was so good at doing this specifically because Assault Vest boosting its special defense, which turned accrued stamina boost for powerful body presses, and that's just gone now. For that matter, Archaludon can't even replace Assault Vest with Power Herb for use outside of Rain, because Power Herb has been removed from the game as well. Now for the winner side of number 3, we have Mega Starmie. The base 140 attack Mega Starmie had in Legends ZA, where there were no abilities, hasn't quite carried over to Champions as we initially thought it had. Such an attack stat alongside huge power did seem mind-boggling, but it's not entirely something you'd put past Game Freak. Yet the base 140 attack it had in Legends ZA was to give it a huge power type of strength without actually having an ability. Now that it has huge power, Mega Starmie's base attack is down to base 100, which sounds much more reasonable following the precedent of the equally gifted Mega Metachamp, but such comforting thoughts quickly dissipate upon realizing that this is still insanely powerful. A base 140 attack Mega Starmie has a roughly 3% chance to 2-hit KO a 0% HP Mew with its newly gained Water Stab Liquidation. A base 100 attack huge power Mega Starmie, on the other hand, cleanly 2-hit KOs a max HP Mew with ease, even through leftovers recovery. So yeah, they basically made it even stronger than Legends Z2A. With excellent base 120 speed and seriously improved twin base 105 defenses, keeping in mind base Starmie made base 85 work as a defensive staple for generations, Mega Starmie is the whole package: fast, strong, bulky, and a great move pool, courtesy of several new additions. It's got secondary stab and Zen Headbutt, it's got a water type's requisite ice coverage and ice spinner, and it can even make itself even more powerful and more difficult to take out on the physical side, with Bulka really cementing itself as a late game nightmare. It's even got self self-destruct for some use not readily apparent, but whose strength and surprise factor some enterprising player is sure to get great mileage out of. Now to loser number 2, we have Mega Meowstic. Mega Meowstic has so much promise. It went from its base form being useless, at least offensively, to having outstanding special attack, the same as Mega Meganium in fact, and speed, which placed it ahead of Mega Starmie and Frostlass. It also was gifted a bevy of utility moves, including the 3 main entry hazards, Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. Yet for some reason, that was a Legends ZA only thing, which is completely and utterly bizarre. But okay, Champions doesn't have 6v6 singles, so its ability is going to be more important anyway, right? Well, yes, but that ability also has to really let it stand out, since as impressive as Mega Meowstic's speed and power are, they pale in comparison to Mega Alakazam. Its one saving grace is that Mega Alakazam's ability is Trace, which is useful, but not something that can be relied on consistently in doubles, as the ability Trace is randomly selected between the 2 opponents on the field. So what does Game Freak do? Why, they give Mega Meowstic Trace, of course. All that excitement over it finally getting its due was immediately deflated. Down the line, it will surely make its mark in a singles lower tier or something, as a sort of Mega Alakazam in a metagame that would be too badly destroyed by the actual Mega Alakazam. But for now, it doesn't have anything it can do. Even without Mega Alakazam outclassing it, though Mega Meowstic would have problems, Mega Alakazam can get by without relying on Trace because it's so strong and fast as to be ridiculous. But Mega Meowstic, while impressive, isn't quite at the point where it can afford to effectively function without an ability most of the time. And again, though this is single specific, having the 3 hazards offered to it only to instantly snatch them away is sadistic, even by Game Freak's gruesome standards. On the flip side, at the number 2 winner spot, we have Mega Blastoise. It finally happened. Mega Blastoise has Shell Smash, and the hype around it is extremely warranted. In Gen 6 and 7, Mega Blastoise was a decent lower tier threat and made an occasional VGC appearance, though that was usually more owing to the fact that it was the Mega of a beloved Kanto starter than its competitive viability. It had solid natural bulk and hit hard with base 135 special attack and enjoyed essentially gaining extra stabs in the form of Mega Launcher boosted Dark Pulse and Aura Sphere, while acting as an excellent offensive rapid spinner in singles, but its middling speed, not even reaching base 80, held it back from anything more. Then in Gen 8, Blastoise finally got one of the most overpowered boosting moves in the game, Shell Smash, as everyone had wanted it to since Gen 5, which, you know, it has a shell, but Gen 8 meant Mega Blastoise was no longer around. Base Blastoise used the move itself to become a lower tier terror, much like its Mega had been in the previous 2 gens, but was still too limited to go any higher than that, while not having any real impact in VGC. Shell Smash Mega Blastoise only existed in the theoretical National Dex metagame, where it was immensely dangerous, but now it's back for real, Shell Smash in tow, and oh boy is it scary. Mono water typing and great natural bulk, allowing it to set up with ease. Once boosted, it no longer has issues with speed. It's still tanky enough to remain difficult to revenge kill with most priority even after Shell Smash drops its defenses, and its already high special attack goes through the roof, alongside the brandishing of one of the best offensive stabs in the game and a myriad of powerful coverage options, from the standard water accompaniment of Ice Beam to the aforementioned pseudo stabs of Dark Pulse and Aura Sphere. Previously, Mega Blastoise sometimes didn't even run Water Stab in favor of these 3 moves alongside Rapid Spin, so it could very well do the same alongside Shell Smash now. Regardless of its coverage particulars, it is a game ender extraordinaire. Now, before we go to the number 1s, we've got some honorable and dishonorable mentions. The honorary winner, first, which is every Pokemon in the game more or less, as they're a beneficiary of the paralysis nerf, as full paralysis is now a mere 12.5% chance, as opposed to the game-breaking 25% that had been frustrating for how commonplace and overpowering it was since the very first generation. And now the dishonorable losers. There are actually a lot here. Though Urshifu and Amoonguss aren't currently in the game, the nerfs to Unseen Fist and Sleep mean they're already nerfed if or when they return. Further up, we have several Pokemon that didn't keep moves that they got in Legends ZA. Most notably, Garchomp and Greninja didn't keep Nasty Plot, which hurts the latter's Mega currently and will affect the former Z Mega on release. Additionally, Tyranitar didn't keep Scorching Sands, which would have been a great addition to its move pool. Next, even though this isn't a good Pokemon, there's still something sad about Flareon losing Swords Dance. Additionally, Ironhead's flinch rate has been lowered from 30% to 20%, leaving Gen 4 players terrorized by Serene Grace Jirachi to wonder what could have been. Finally, Garganacl suffers from Salt Cure having been nerfed to deal 6.25% damage per turn as opposed to its previous 12.5%. It will do 12.5% now upon hitting Steel or Water types as opposed to its previous 25%. Now for Pokemon Champions' number 1 loser, or rather losers, as we have Mega Victory Bell and Embor. And it's not that anybody expected anything of these two to begin with. There's stat spreads didn't exactly inspire a ton of excitement. For all of their extra power, their speed was just too low. Mega Victory Bell also had the issue of a stab combination that, while not without its good points, really needed the assistance of powerful coverage its move pool just didn't have. And it was somehow the slower of the two, which was really bad considering Mega Embor's 75 base speed was already cause for concern. While better off in the offensive department, it also wasn't enough to overcome its lack of speed. Additionally, neither Pokemon packed nearly enough survivability. They were dangerously close to being obsolete by virtue of being what few Pokemon, least of all Megas, could afford to be: slow glass cannon. Some hope remained though, because while their Legends ZA release confirmed it wouldn't be through stats alone that they would succeed, they still had yet to receive their abilities. Many of the best Pokemon around wouldn't even be looked at if not for their abilities. You know what Incineroar was before it got Intimidate? That's right, nothing. Mega Embor especially seemed like it'd be a candidate for a good one, being a starter, while Mega Victory Bell was a console Pokemon, another group known for generous treatment from Game Freak. But instead, they've been given abilities that really cement them going nowhere in a hurry. The issue with both abilities isn't just that they're bad, but that they are abilities that are only really good on good Pokemon. Mega Victory Bell's innards out punishing the opponent with damage equivalent to that which knocked Mega Victory Bell out can be useful, but an ability that requires the user to faint isn't exactly something desirable on a Mega Pokemon, especially since it does more damage the higher health it's knocked out from. And in addition to the fact that this ability does nothing to assist Mega Victory Bell's problems, it can't even get mileage out of the theoretical idea that it might dissuade the opponent from KOing it from high health, which might work on a better Pokemon, but since Mega Victory Bell is so unthreatening, this means the opponent can easily afford to play around it to take as little as possible from the ability. However, Mega Embor's Mold Breaker is far from disappointing. It may clear the depressingly low bar of not requiring its user to faint before kicking in, but it is tremendously useless on Mega Embor for so many reasons. Number 1, it does nothing to fix Mega Embor's problems. Number 2, Mega Embor doesn't even have particularly concrete use for Mold Breaker ignoring opponent's ability, so it might bypass an occasional sturdy Pokemon. Big whoop. Number 3, the other starter Pokemon got great abilities. They even got brand new abilities made just for them, which did indeed make them far more threatening. Now, speaking of Meganium, we're finishing things off with the number 1 winner of Pokemon Champions, and fittingly, there was really only one choice for this. And of course, it's Mega Meganium, unquestionably the ultimate winner, because it doesn't matter exactly how good Mega Meganium winds up being. What matters is that it actually is good, and entirely in its own way. After being a defensively competent but ultimately featureless passive blob for nearly its entire competitive career, it is now a powerhouse of an offensive tank. Its Mega Soul ability powers its moves as if Sun were active, no matter what, even under the effect of another weather condition like rain. Mega Meganium will still fire off Stab Solar Beam with no charge turn, a fire-type sun-boosted Weather Ball, and will heal 66% of its health with Synthesis, which is especially useful given its impressive twin-based 115 defenses that, alongside the major benefits of its newly gained Fairy typing, mean it's quite good at taking hits as well. With Stab Dazzling Gleam also now in its repertoire, Fairy is effective for Mega Meganium's offense as well, able to dominate the Dragon types like Mega Dragonite that would resist both Solar Beam and Weather Ball, as well as Bulletproof Chestnut for that matter. Additionally, when Heatran and its Mega come around to thwart all three, Mega Meganium has a brand new Earth power to send it back to the depths of Stark Mountain. Mega Meganium's original niche was as a bulky Swords Dancer in Gen 2 OU, and it didn't even use Stab, and now after having been plunged into bland obscurity for so long, it finally returns to the biggest stage with a jaw-dropping base 143 special attack alongside excellent offensive defensive typing and a strategy that is all it's known. It is a beautiful competitive Pokemon redemption story. And thank you so much to our Platinum patrons. Thank you to Amphozenus, Alex Sable, Anthony Belval Renault, Daniel Isbeast, Corman, Don Creek, Eric Dissing, Espeon Lover, Funky, Glitcherton, Howl, Jack G, King Yabber, Nightfall, Megamon VGC, Mojo Game Slayer, Nurse Jake, One Penguin to Rule, Pretzel SP, Schmooter, Seagulls Incorporated, Sojiro Sakura, Spavoon, Gylaria, Soras and Croxon, Shiwei Miji, Stoneface Colin, Tyler, Kiboflu, Wardine, Zathor for their major support of our videos.